11 indices that your trauma hasn't healed. Trauma affects almost everyone in some capacity at some point in their lives. Trauma-related severe distress can strike at any age and persist for years. It has a serious negative influence on mental health, particularly if the suffering was endured in childhood or adolescence. We seldom take the necessary steps to heal from traumatic situations, even though we may be aware that some of the experiences in our lives were unpleasant. Because of what? Often, when faced with intense feelings, such as betrayal, loss, remorse, or sadness, our minds cannot handle them. We bury those sentiments and thoughts into our subconscious minds, where they cause chaos, rather than analyzing them. We give our trauma permission to quietly ruin our lives when we ignore it. Accidental healing never heals trauma. Only deliberate deeds and thoughts can allow your mind to be healed. Take a look at these indicators of unhealed trauma if you believe you've moved past your trauma or that your events weren't that traumatic. First place, poor self-image. Even within the category of distinct trauma types, each person's experience will vary. Trauma, however, usually results in a decrease in our sense of self. The victim may doubt their own value, particularly if the experience dates back to their early years. You begin to believe that you are worthless when you are treated as though you are not a valuable human being. According to studies, people with PTSD are more prone to have emotions of worthlessness and extremely low self-esteem. Whether you are the victim of abuse, assault, desertion, or something else entirely, consider your identity. How does it make you feel to look in the mirror at yourself? Why? 2. Number 2. Building walls. Do you give your feelings of sadness, disappointment, or agitation enough time to be felt and processed? Do you exercise, write in a journal, weep, spend time with yourself, or vent in any other healthy way? If your response is negative or you're thinking, "I never feel that way," you're probably shutting both people and yourself out. Building a wall is a typical trauma response. Expressing your emotions from the past probably led to the accumulation of bad sentiments that came from not receiving the assistance you required. These walls typically resemble fear, rage, or silence. Building these walls is the worst thing you can do since it keeps you cut off from other people, yourself, and your feelings. You don't know who you are, what matters to you, or how you feel. You can't ignore your sadness. You lose your ability to be joyful when you block out the bad feelings. You block out comfort, joy, and happiness. You start to lose all empathy and care about nothing at all. You must develop appropriate coping strategies and safe emotional processing techniques if you hope to recover from your trauma and this emotional numbness. Number 3. Wary of positive shifts. Do you hesitate when something wonderful, a career advancement, a romantic interest, or just plain good fortune, enters your life? Do you truly believe that nice things pass quickly? Your traumatic experiences may be the reason behind your resistance to constructive change. Human nature teaches us to expect the unexpected. It can also be the outcome of your low self-worth. You will believe that you are undeserving of happiness or positive if you feel inadequate. You may experience shame or remorse about receiving a reward. When positive things happen in your life and you feel undeserving, guilty, or ashamed, you're most likely still dealing with unresolved trauma. Number 4. Difficulty in seeking assistance. Do you find it difficult to express your feelings to other people? If the response is in the affirmative or if you have never told anybody about your trauma, it may indicate that you find it difficult to ask for assistance. Do you find it hard to ask for help, even with little things in your life? Your previous mistreatment may be the root of your aversion to rely on others. Perhaps you're terrified of being judged, rejected, or disappointed. Do you fear coming out as weak or that you won't get the assistance you really require? The 5th is fear of failing. Fear of failing is a universal emotion, even among those who have not experienced severe trauma. However, if your fear gets so great that it keeps you from exploring new areas, picking up new abilities, or doing new activities, it might be a dangerous indicator of unresolved trauma. The art of success lies in trying again after failure. Your situation won't go better on its own if you're so terrified of failing that you miss out on opportunities, stifle your creativity, and develop insecurities. Unresolved trauma might lead to false beliefs that you're never going to be the best, that you're not good enough, or that you're a failure forever. The 6th is fear of success. Repressed trauma, on the other hand, results in a fear of achievement. Though it may sound odd, pay attention to this. Success-related anxiety is linked to childhood abandonment trauma. You stop yourself from reaching your goals as a result of it. It comes from a concern that you might acquire it and then lose it, not from a fear of not obtaining it. Your chances of success could be ruined by this trauma response even before you start. 7th, excessive planning. When things don't turn out the way you had hoped, how do you feel? It could irritate you. However, do you let that feeling to surface and then go away, or do you cling to it? After experiencing trauma, a victim may find that having control over their life is crucial. After all, in these situations, we are totally out of our control. If you find yourself over-preparing, it may indicate that you are afraid of being vulnerable and ultimately powerless. Overthinking, micromanaging, and constant concern are all indicators that you don't trust people or yourself, and they're frequently symptoms of deeper trauma. Number 8, difficulty concentrating. Trauma alters our brain physiology, which in turn modifies our psychology. Memorization loss and concentration problems are quantifiable aftereffects of traumatic situations. If you have trouble thinking clearly or encounter inexplicable blackouts, don't hold it against yourself. It can be your mind's method of alerting you to a need for assistance. 9, injuring others or yourself. Our emotions and behaviors go crazy after experiencing trauma. When we're joyful, we behave sad. When we are depressed, we behave angrily. Additionally, behavior intensifies along with the intensity of emotions. It may be related to your trauma if you become angry, push people away, or withdraw from people when you're struggling and need support. You might inadvertently exacerbate your mental illness and cause emotional distress to yourself. You run the risk of hurting the ones you love by distancing yourself. Occasionally, this mental anguish becomes overwhelming, and you may injure yourself or other people physically. Oversensitivity, erratic behavior, and rage are symptoms of trauma that can easily spiral out of control. Consider whether your frequent outbursts of rage could be connected to your traumatic experience. Number 10, anxiety and depression. Even if a trauma occurred a very long time ago, victims may experience anxiety and despair as a result of it. If you are constantly tense, you may have chronic anxiety, which is characterized by extreme worry. Panicking over commonplace events might be brought on by anxiety. Your pulse quickens, you experience lightheadedness, and you long to vanish. Excessive melancholy is one of the symptoms of depression. Do you often cry for no apparent cause or for little matters? This intense melancholy can be hurtful and have an effect on your behavior and mental processes. It's not simple to deal with unresolved trauma or to live with anxiety and sadness. Regretfully, they frequently coexist, leading to an erratic mental state characterized by disorder and uncertainty. Number 11, physical pain that isn't diagnosable. There are numerous ways that stress affects the physical body, none of which are good for our health. Your body reacts to the stress of the trauma even if you are unable to recall what happened to cause it. It is carried by it. You have to find a method to let go of the mental suffering you're experiencing. It may present as headaches, exhaustion in the muscles, stomach issues, or inexplicable, persistent chest pains. These symptoms could be the result of an unresolved trauma, but if your doctors are unable to pinpoint the underlying reason, they might be the effect of another condition. Which of these symptoms of unresolved trauma do you see? If so, know that you are capable of dealing with your trauma. You are capable of conquering each and every one of these obstacles. It is possible to be well, content, and joyful. It's now your chance, as millions of people worldwide have previously healed themselves. Identify your issues first. Next, look for the answers. The help of your close friends and family will be necessary. You can learn coping skills from a licensed therapist that have been shown to accelerate the healing process. You can gradually let go of things that no longer serve you every day, until the burden is taken off your shoulders. Your life will transform when you create space for self-love, fearlessness, and a sense of wholeness that comes from acceptance and healing. Please like and share this video with your friends if you think it's helpful so we may continue to make more of them. Click the subscribe button and don't forget to click the notification bell for more videos just like this one. Don't forget to watch our other videos as well. Thank you for viewing.